Welcome back to another Space News Update. This week, ESA launches its dark matter detective Euclid, a Spaceport Sutherland progress update from Space Nessie. The Astra Carta is signed by King Charles III, find out what that is, plus Spain's Miura 1 suffers another pushback. So stick around and let's get going.
Roger, liftoff and the clock is started.
Alright everyone, we start with another amazing scientific mission from the European Space Agency, with the launch of the Euclid Space Telescope, colloquially referred to as the Dark Matter Detective.
Hello, Detective.
Named after the ancient Greek mathematician and father of geometry, Euclid aims to explore the evolution of the dark universe, but before it can do that, it first had to launch to space, and on Saturday the 1st of July, it did just that thanks to a ride on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Lifting off at 11:12 AM local time from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral in Florida, Booster 1080 on its second flight powered Euclid skywards, with the usual sequence of events taking place: max Q, MECO, fairing jettison, and boost back burn to land safely back on the drone ship a short fall of gravitas just a few minutes later. Then the upper stage carried the 2-ton Euclid spacecraft onwards to increase its velocity and propel it not to low Earth orbit, but to the start of a month-long trip to Sun-Earth Lagrange Point 2, or L2, a point in space around 1.5 million kilometers beyond the Earth, which is also home to the Gaia and James Webb Space Telescopes. Euclid aims to answer some fundamental questions about the dark universe, such as what is the structure and history of the cosmic web, what is the nature of dark matter and dark energy, how has the universe's expansion changed over time, and do we really know everything about gravity? To do this, it will spend 6 years at least making a 3D map of the universe by observing billions of galaxies out to 10 billion light years across more than a third of the sky, facing away from the Milky Way. Dark matter is estimated to make up 90% of the universe's space, having a significant effect on the growth of cosmic structures. Yet scientists are still unsure what dark matter and dark energy are, so Euclid is going to play a key role in our understanding of these scientific phenomena. More than 1,200 people in more than 100 laboratories across the world will be responsible for analysing the data that Euclid sends back. Euclid was built by Theosalenia Space in Italy, with the payload module built by Airbus Defence and Space in France. The main instrument is a Korsch telescope, 1.2 meters wide, with a focal length of 24.5 meters, and it can see a wide spectrum from 550 nanometers to 2 micrometers at near-infrared capacity. There's also a visible light camera and an infrared spectrometer and photometer on board. The telecommunication system is capable of transferring 850 gigabits of data per day, with a transfer rate of 55 megabits per second during a 4-hour window when the spacecraft will be in range of the communications relay located in Spain. This is another amazing scientific mission from ESA, following on from the JUICE mission just a few short months ago. And speaking of JUICE, as you can see here, the handy JUICE bar is now sitting at a whopping 2% mission complete status. So just a little ways to go then. Now, on Friday the 30th of June, Space Nessie took another trip up to Spaceport Sutherland to check on the progress up at the site.
Hey everybody, it's Dave the Space Nessie here, and as Tom may have mentioned, I've been back up to Sutherland Spaceport. So if you want to find out how Orbix are getting on with developing the spaceport, then give me a follow on Twitter at Space Nessie or just Space Nessie on YouTube. Back over to you.
As you can tell from this footage, it was a rather wet and windy day, but thanks to Nessie's efforts, we can now see that the beginnings of the car park and main road running through the spaceport have begun to take shape. As part of Orbix's commitment to the local area, they've also installed 17 passing places along the country road that takes you to the spaceport. With it being a country B road, it's not possible to widen it, so this is the next best thing to make traffic flow a little bit easier due to the expected amount of heavy vehicles that will be running up and down that road. Where the diggers are parked is the main entrance and car park to the site, and that blue box there, well, that's where the control center will sit, with the launch pad being quite a bit further up that center roadway. Not a whole lot to see in these images, but we have to remember it's still early days at the moment. That being said, the spaceport is relatively simple in terms of required structures, so much like Saxavord, it should all come together fairly smoothly, weather permitting. Like Nessie said there, if you want to stay up to date on all things Spaceport Sutherland, you can do so by heading on over to his Twitter, YouTube or Patreon channels, where you can also show support for all the hard work that he does bringing us these really great images. Speaking of that, if you do enjoy these videos, then hit that like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the very best UK space news, then hit that subscribe and notification buttons too. The YouTube algorithm has not been very kind lately to smaller creators like myself and some others that I'm in touch with, so your support really does go a long way and helps all of us out here to bring you the very best content that we possibly can each and every week. I've also recently launched a Patreon, so if you'd like a bit more from me with more to come in the future, then consider checking out that link as well. Once again, all of your support is greatly appreciated. Now, back to the news. Also from this past week, we saw the unveiling of the logo for the Astra Carta. The Astra Carta is an initiative led by King Charles III of the United Kingdom and the Sustainable Markets Initiative. And this past week, an event was held at Buckingham Palace, which saw important dignitaries from the world of spaceflight, including Chris Hadfield, Tim Peake, and even Brian May, the guitarist from Queen, who's also a renowned astrophysicist, attend the event alongside representatives of countries and space industry companies from around the world. They were on hand to witness the grand unveiling of this, well, rather fabulous looking logo. But not just that, they were also on hand to start signing the official documentation. So just what is the Astra Carta? Well, first off, it's a play on the name Magna Carta, a rather ancient document from the year 1215 from England's history. It was basically designed to keep kings of the day in check and make sure that they were not above the law. The Astra Carta is designed to keep countries and companies in check when it comes to spaceflight operations, in line with the UK's commitment to space sustainability. Space sustainability is the UK government and UK space agency's leading principle, and is why we've seen such funding levels for companies like Astroscale and ClearSpace with their space debris cleanup operations initiatives. The Astra Carta is designed to make sure that we all agree not to throw up quite so much stuff into space, and recognises the need to clean up low Earth orbit, making space operations safer and more sustainable for the future. Now, I've talked about space debris or space junk on this channel before, including in this video here, which not very many people have seen. So if you want to learn a bit more whilst watching me play Astroscale's Orbiter video game at the same time, go ahead and check that out after you're done here. But yeah, Britain has struggled to find its place in space in more recent times. Sure, we are one of the biggest manufacturers of satellites in the world, and we do have some great things going on, such as a couple of rocket companies and spaceports and so on and so forth, as we try to capture the small sat market. But there is a real aim to be the world's leading country when it comes to space sustainability, and the signing of the Astra Carta and the unveiling of this logo puts a good stamp on those plans. Finally, some good and some bad news from PLD Space of Spain. Firstly, the launch of the Miura 1 suborbital and reusable rocket has been pushed back to beyond September. This is due to laws in Spain designed to protect against forest fires in military maneuver areas. Because of the dry season in the Huelva region, there's a real risk that any launch attempt over the rest of the summer will create forest fires, and it would also be a breach of forestry and military laws. The good thing is though, that gives the team an extra little bit of time to work through some issues during that last launch attempt just a couple of weeks ago. This saw an umbilical cable release just 0.25 seconds late, throwing off the rest of the start sequence and causing an automatic abort. In other good news, however, in the past few days, PLD Space have been awarded an aerospace public-private contract by the Spanish Ministry for Science. This is worth an initial 1.5 million euros and will allow PLD Space to accelerate the development of their planned Miura 5 orbital class launch vehicle, which they hope to have ready by the end of December 2023. Following this, a tendering body will evaluate the design and proposals set out by PLD Space, and if successful, it will see them enter into a secondary contract phase in 2024, which is worth up to 40.5 million euros. PLD Space have already obtained more than 65 million euros in total funding, which is not bad, but if we consider that the estimated cost to send a rocket to orbit from initial design stages is around about $100 million, translate that to euros if you will, then this extra $40.5 million, if they're successful, would go a long way to really completing the plans and seeing the Miura 5 finally take flight. It's a really exciting rocket that they've got planned, and it is designed to land back in the ocean. It would also make it Europe's first reusable or recoverable rocket ever. RFA also have plans to make their RFA-1 reusable, but that won't happen until future iterations, so PLD Space have a real shot at making history here. As I record this video, the Ariane 5 is due to launch for the final time on July the 4th, after fixes to the booster separation system, which grounded it during the last launch attempt just a few weeks ago. The Ariane 5 will carry the Heinrich Hertz and Syracuse 4B satellites into a geostationary transfer orbit from the French Guiana Space Center. So I hope you're all going to tune into that one, and I'll be back with an update on that the next time around. So, what did you think of this week's news? Sound off in the comments below, or hit me up at one of the links shown on screen. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Tom June, and I'll see you next time.